Episode 2. Are we ready? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It's time for episode 2 of the Lost Ark Dojo. Yep, crash courses on all your popular topics. Coming in hot with engravings. If you're not sure how to open up your character sheet, that's the letter P. You can also go down here on the character and go to, where is it? Character profile P right here if it's not bound. Coming up here on the top, we have engravings. Now, what are engravings? Engravings are things you equip to your character. 5. If you're a new player, I think depending on when you start, if there's a pass or not, it's going to auto-equip these on you, and then you can make changes later. If you're not sure which engravings to use on your class, of course, we go to the Lost Ark Nexus, select your class, and go to the community guide. And so on this example, I'm doing a war dancer here. And then I would look down here for esoteric, right here, engravings. There we go. So grudge, adrenaline, curse, tall, keen, blunt, raid, captain, mass, increase. Now, what does this mean? So each one of these engravings for me as a DPS is going to be increasing my damage somehow, some way. We mentioned in the skills video, if you didn't watch that yet, about front attacking and back attacking, which is master, brawler, and ambush master. Also, if I want to look at my engravings, down here under the roster, Alt-I is engraving effect. Come in here. Let me move my camera back down here, and let's take a look at this. So this character here, I followed the guide. I got all my engravings on. It should already be equipped for you. If you need to make any adjustments, go ahead and adjust it. Now, each one of these increase damage. Like, let me start over on this because it's a little bit weird to explain from the top. So this, as an example, as a talking point, is Cursed Doll. Outgoing damage plus 17%, recovery minus 25%. So what does recovery minus 25% mean? Obviously, 17% more damage is cool, but recovery minus 25% is a boon we have acquired by using this engraving. So that's saying I take 25% less healing, 25% less from my potions or any sorts like that. So it punishes me, but I gain more damage, right? There's a lot like this. Like Grudge is another really common one, the most common one, if not, on all our damage. Where it's damage plus 24%, so even more than Cursed Doll, and then incoming damage plus 20%. So I'm taking 20% more damage, but I'm doing more damage. And then like all my other skills here, we also have like mass increase down here, where it's giving me attack speed reduction, outgoing damage up. Now another thing to notice is there are levels to these. So if you notice right here, we have basic, which is where we're at right now. In the next patch here coming up, they're getting rid of all the epic books. So it's just gonna be legendary and relic. So we're gonna get all the way up to that legendary part. And then you read 5 books at a time to go through each one of these little things. So it says stand up cooldown 1%, 2%, 3%, and 4%. Respectively is 5 books, 10 books, 15 books, and 20 books. And then so you have to finish the previous rarity to go up to the next rarity. So finishing epic right now, which goes away soon, and then through legendary, and then all the way through relic. Now, you can ask, where do I get books? And that's like kind of a tricky one because there's just so many places to get books. It's like events, shops, the marketplace, daily activities like Chaos Dungeon Guardian raids, Legion Portal, World Boss, exchange vendors. Some of the exchange vendors for like different raids have them in there. The biggest thing is legendary books are going to be a lot more common. Relic books are still scarce, and we're about a year into the new ones. But legendary, you should find a good amount of them. You should be getting a lot of help with that as a new player with each new event that you start with. This is definitely a big source of damage that you gain. And we keep trying to like work our way through as existing players. It's one of those evergreen systems, I guess you could say, where it's a continued grind and it's kind of tough to get through. But that being said, once you have all your engravings equipped, again, if you hit your P key here, make sure you set engraving effect. You can just right click something, take it off, and then put it back on, whatever you want to do, and change it to whatever the guide says. Where is it? I'm blind. Right there. All right, we're back. So now up here, if you notice, I have other little tabs. So there's other builds I can do. There's also ways to enhance like chaos dungeons, which I won't go into too much detail around. But just to kind of talk through some of these important things, like preemptive strike is giving me a guaranteed crit when a creature has full health with a crit hit multiplier of a vast amount. So putting this on for like a Chaos Dungeon is real important. A thing to note is Grudge doesn't work in Chaos Dungeons because everything is Challenge or lower, so it's not really worth using that in Chaos Dungeons. So we want to use like Preemptive Strike. Curse Stall. Contender gives me attack power every time I kill a mob, stacking and lasting for 40 seconds. Pretty important. And then you can just put on like Adrenaline, and a lot of people say to use like Heavy Armor just because you do take damage from the mobs, and I could save this out and save this as Chaos. Over here on this other tab, I have the first part, and I save that as my original raid build. And then I can then use these in other presets and change to these. Now I'll talk about presets later on, but now we're just focusing on engravings. So next up, we can talk about the support engravings. We kind of covered some of these other ones. Just to show you Ambush Master first, and Master Brawler, wherever that is, somewhere around here. So Ambush Master is outgoing damage plus 4.8%, back attack damage 15%. So that's saying I get 4.8% increased damage and then an additional 15% if I hit the back. So if I hit the side, the front, anywhere but the back, I lose a ton of damage, but I'm still getting a little bit for that engraving. Master Brawler is the same, but on the front. For supports, use things like Expert, which increases your shielding and healing. Hold on, let me scroll down just to show you that. So it's like a big support engraving. Awakenings increase the number of awakening increases the number of awakenings you can use in a fight and lowers its cooldown. Very important for supports. Yeah, that's a good call out, Kagom. I called that out in the skills video, but in case, just to reiterate, in case you didn't watch that, this effect, the frontal attack damage, only works on skills that have a frontal attack modifier on it. Now, we talked about the Master Brawler and Ambush Master, so that's front. This is back. So if a skill has back attack, only Ambush Master would only work on that back attack skill. And then we have Hit Master somewhere in here, right here, and that's saying things that don't have front or back. Basically, we'll get that increase. So engravings are pretty straightforward once you just that's like while you're starting out, just set it, forget it. Don't worry about it too much, but do worry about leveling up your books that you have equipped to your character. There is some priority to what you would want to level first, but you know, everything's progress and gains. Don't sweat it too much. Also, let's see. I think we can go here and then go here. So just as another talking point, we can go into the guide, Codex, Alt D, and I can actually select different books at different rarities if I need to find it. Like here is Expert Engraving, says Chaos Dungeon, Ebony Cube. Down here it says Curzon Front or Ebony Cube. So while you're starting out, just worry about getting your legendary books done. If you get a relic book, it'd probably be best just to sell it because you're going to need the gold. Until much later in the game when you're getting closer to the end game and want to start actually think about those high cost, low return kind of gains. Let's see, we talked about where to get the engravings. We talked about some of those Chaos Dungeon engravings. We brought up a couple of these support engravings. Two more points I want to make before we move on here. Is this Adrenaline right here? So it's saying I'm getting so if I use a skill, I'm going to hit some skills here. If you look down here on this bar, I'm stacking up to 6. And so something to be said is engravings, or Adrenaline in particular, I need to get all the way up to 6 stacks and maintain 6 stacks to get my crit rate up an additional 15.5%, which is a massive amount of crit. So most people, not everyone knows that. They think they're getting crit throughout it or getting stacking crit, but that's not how it works. It's about keeping your Adrenaline stack maxed so you get the full attack power and then the crit value as well. Same thing goes for supports on something called Magic Stream. Let me find that real quick. Right here. It's kind of the same where I want to go up to max stacks and then I get cooldown reduction when I'm at max stacks. So it's pretty good engraving. The engravings in general, don't sweat about them too much. You're going to get them over time from events and things like that, and then just organically from drops. One last place to show you where you can get them is the auction house here. They won't be too expensive. So if I needed expert books, I can just search for expert here. So 100 gold for legendary books. Obviously, you don't have tradable gold until much later in the game, but just to kind of give you an idea of the pricing of those like that. I think that covers it because we talked about engraving rarity, engraving levels. What do these books do? It's like mandatory to have these and work on these. We talked about support engravings, Chaos Dungeon engravings, talked about where to get them. So I think that about wraps up episode 2 of the Lost Ark Dojo. Hopefully that helped some people out. Yeah. Say bye, YouTube. See you, YouTube. Bye, YouTube.